that I mean slowing sales. So now you've got increasing inventory, price reductions. I want a more balanced market, or ideally a market that favors buyers. So I'll do my research. I'll go to the news wires, just heat index, slowing sales, cooler markets. And when I find them, I've got scrapers that I use. I want a more balanced market, or ideally a market for sale by owner. So I'll do my research and shoot out, get my leads. And then I'll send, once I get the leads, I push a button, I can send out my text message. It's time efficient, it's cost efficient. And if I do my marketing in, let's say, Peoria, Illinois, or Lafayette, Louisiana, markets that are cooler, the response rate is much greater than if I'm marketing here in Miami or Fort Lauderdale.
So you target market where you think the best, the most, the opportunities are right now, the most motivated sellers, for instance, or.
Yes, and Claude, that scares a lot of new investors because they say, well, Mike, 1,000 miles away, how do I deal with it? Well, that's where cooperative assignments come in, because to do the cooperative assignments, I'm not risking anything. Using your contracts, I can get out of that cooperative assignment at any time. It literally costs me $5 between myself and the seller. So, I mean, I don't care if the property's on the West Coast. I'll do the cooperative assignment, and if it doesn't work, I've got the option to cancel at any time. So I'm never worried about making payments on a vacant house. So to me, it's a perfect situation for this market.
It's the best investment. What do you see you and I go back to the Stone Age, okay?
Yes.
And we were doing this before before internet.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, tell everybody what it was like in the good old days before we had all this this internet technology, before we were using the internet. How did we do our marketing? And it worked.
Well, I was one of the smart guys who said the internet's a fad; it'll never work.
I said the same thing. I said the same thing about rap music.
Yeah.
It'll never last.
Well, Claude, when I got serious, I was in Albuquerque, and the way we had to work it was I would wait for the weekend edition of the newspaper to come out. Mm-hmm. I would look for the for sale and for rent. Yeah.
The color pens, right?
For sale and for rent by owner. And I just thought, we called it dialing for dollars. I just started calling people. But it was a great training ground, because you had to get on the phone with everybody and you get yelled at and cursed at, but it was just great. And I would just call people one after another. I also ran a little ad myself and people would call me, but that was my marketing. And of course I could only work locally. I was working Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. And that was pretty much it, but that gave me my start. And once I got into it, I was 3 to 4 to 5 deals in a month. It was not uncommon out there.
It's kind of interesting. At one time, I always tell people that getting into real estate today is about the best time I've ever seen. In the old days, when Michael was just saying, we use signs. People still do that today, by the way. We were doing classified ads. I had ads in Money Magazine, Entrepreneur, New York Times, Washington Post. I had ads in all these papers. Literally, Claudia and I were spending $10,000 a month in advertising.
Wow.
And I mean, it was just, there was no other alternative. The papers had the monopoly in those days, remember?
Yes.
And there was no other way to, public speaking was good still. I was doing, you were probably doing a lot of that too, right?
I did some, not as much as you. You were the man, Claude.
I love public speaking today. I find getting in front of 2 nuns and a Boy Scout or a room of 1,000 people, if you tell a good story and the audience likes you and you're entertaining, you're gonna get a lot of leads the next day.
Oh yeah, I used to speak to real estate clubs, coast to coast. I enjoyed it. I like getting out, meeting people. The thing I didn't like was, I know that when I'm speaking in May, when I'm the speaker of the month, the guy who spoke a month before me gave his pitch. The guy who's speaking next month is giving his pitch. After about 18 months, I just felt like a used car salesman, because look, the club owners, it's a business. I get it. They wanted you to sell. And that just wasn't my thing, so I did it for a while, but then I just opted out.
Yeah, I still speak to clubs. During the pandemic, I was doing it on Zoom exclusively,
yeah,
which was wonderful. Instead of getting on the airplane and checking into the embassy suites and eating
Uh-huh.
a bad chicken Caesar salad dinner. I love Zoom. We've been using Zoom for a long time here. That all that stuff compared to today, where we're doing our offers, we're texting, we're doing our marketing on YouTube and Twitter and TikTok and everything. How's that affected your business? How's that changed?
Well, obviously, it streamlines everything. For one thing, marketing is much less expensive. Getting a hold of people is easier. Like, you can text, you can call, you can email. So technology has definitely made me and just about everybody else, I'm sure, more time efficient and more cost efficient.
Have you found your overhead is a lot less today than it
Yes.
was 20 years ago?
Absolutely.
I don't think we talk enough about that. In the Stone Age, we spent thousands of dollars a month for marketing.
Yeah,
We did mailers, we did newsletter. Remember newsletters? Everybody did a newsletter.
Mm-hmm. I still have some of yours. The least
Okay.
purchase time. What was it called?
It was called the Least Purchase Times. I did it for years. If any of my students here want it, by the way, I have a book of all these old newsletters that we did for years and years. And there's some really good stories and articles and stuff. They're 20 years old, but they're really good. So if anybody wants one, send me an email or in the Skype group, and I'll send you the book of all those old Least Purchase Times newsletters. There were some fun articles in there too.
Oh, Claude, they were great. I still have them sitting in my closet with the manual you gave me. And I'm telling you, you had said once, it made me laugh. You were looking back on it and you said, man, it looks like these were printed in prison.
It's true, and we did newsletters, and that's how we built up our database of followers. And that's not done as much today that I'm aware of, where actually people do a printed U.S. Postal System newsletter. Is anyone doing that anymore? Or
is the post office still in business?
It really. Let's ask somebody who's one of our young people in the audience here. One of Yiming or Alex, or who's one of our younger guys or girls in the audience? Ellie. We got a young lady here. ELLE. Ellie, do you go to the post? Ellie, do you go to the post office anymore? What's a post office? I know.
Do I? Unless I absolutely have to. And it's like a terrorist event, quite frankly.
You want to torture a millennial or a Gen Xer? Put them in the line in the post office. What do I do?
Yes, and then you find out that you're in the wrong line. Like who's organizing this?
It's true. Also, on the flip side, how you compliment somebody that's maybe a baby boomer or somebody maybe in their 40s or 50s.
Be very careful here. Be very careful here.
Hey, I'm just saying, if someone was born before the 90s, if you shoot them a card or a thank you, a handwritten thank you, they pick up your phone call the next time you call them. So that works for me. Handwritten thank you. So I still use the post office quite often.
I think the post office, there's still some marketing gravitas in the post office because nobody gets letters anymore. I got a letter. We have 3 kids, triplets in my neighborhood in San Diego.
Oh.
And they just graduated. All 3 of them graduated from high school, even in the pandemic. And we wrote them a little check, because they're good kids. And they wrote me the sweetest little letter. Here it is. And they mailed it to us here. And I was very touched by it. It shows extra effort,
But Claude, I will say though, there are plenty of gurus out there that are still drilling on you have to do postcards and mail merges and I'm like, this is a digital age. Like I want to do it remote and I have to be open to wherever the market is and what's going on in the markets.
I agree completely. What is the one thing that everybody has in their hand? They go to the bathroom with it. They fall asleep with it. They drive with. God, it's scary out there. Have you seen people who waver on the road? And they're not drinking and driving anymore. They're just texting. I mean, what is the one thing everybody is using? Everybody, literally all day long.
A phone.
A phone. So I guess it would be negligent not to do your marketing through this device in some fashion. Michael, let me hand it back over to you here.
Well, Claude, you're the guy I always, when I'm talking to a new student, I tell them the same thing. You got to develop your phone personality. And I said, Claude has said this before, and I never forgot it. the telephone is the remote control to the universe. That's your line, and it's true. You know, most new investors have a terrible fear of the phone, and I get it. We all, you know, but I tell them,
cactus, right?
You know, yeah, you know, but there's no shortcut around it. You can watch videos, and I always send them to your webpage, your YouTube channel, always. And everybody contacts me. That Claude is pretty good on the phone. So you've got a great phone strategy. I send them to you, but at some point, you've got to pick up the phone, that new investor. You're going to get kicked around a bit, but each call becomes easier. And it's a lost art, but it's an absolute necessity if you want to be in this business long term, because nobody's going to sell you the house or do a flip or any kind of deal with you via text. At some point, they want to know who's on the other end of the phone.
There's probably somebody out there, Michael, still using a fax machine. I have those beautiful fax machines in all my offices, all my homes. They're doorstops now. You know,
that's the way we did it. Oh, that's the way it was.
We were doing. Remember, that was the next big technological breakthrough: faxing and and things like that. And God, I remember I used to have a thermal paper fax machine.
Oh God!
It wasn't even regular paper.
Thank God for Swiffers. Now you could just dust it easier.
Oh my gosh! So today's marketing, it's definitely better. I think putting out a message, content marketing is the best way to do marketing, because you attract a better audience, you build up a better database, you get people calling you, texting you, they come to you. Michael, are you doing any kind of virtual attraction marketing in today's age?
Well, when you say virtual attraction, Claude, what specifically do you mean? I mean, I do a lot of mass texting, because, like you said, everybody's got their cell phone interface 24/7.
Yeah. See what he just. By the way, what did Michael, who's a gut student from Huawei, what did he just? I asked him a question. What did he do right back at me?
He asked a question.
He turned my question into a question. Is that the way we keep control with prospects? You better believe it. So now that pressure came right back to me. See, and the thing is, virtual attraction is basically putting out content, texting people, emailing them, podcasts, YouTube videos, TikTok. Oh my gosh, what's the other one? The blogging. Pictures, Pinterest. What else is there? Anything that puts out, someone somewhere is Googling right now for information on the business that you're in. And I think if you can anticipate what the questions that they're asking and the content that they're looking for, and you can put it in a friendly, non-commercial format. I don't think anybody wants to see commercials anymore. Am I right?
Of course.
Yeah. And I think
Sorry, Claude, I was going to say Michael has one of the best attraction marketing ebooks out there, I think.
Tell us about your book, Michael. You do have a great book.
Well, like I said, back when I thought I would be a great writer, I decided to put the book together because someone had told me, more than one person, Mike, you know a lot about this, write a book. So I scratched it out, and the feedback I got on the Claude was always what I wanted to hear. Hey, I read your book and it makes sense. I understand it, as opposed to being a lot of trying to convince somebody how smart you are. It's nuts and bolts, the naked investor for a reason that we talked about. So, it was me. I think the book reflects my philosophy about this business, or at least specifically about lease options and how to do them. I'm convinced that anybody who reads through it will have a much better understanding of how to do a lease option. And that was the whole goal. Now, having said that, it was written, it's got to be 15 years ago. It is definitely time for an upgrade. And I keep getting started and I keep putting it off. But there is I'm looking at it now on the screen. I'm looking at doing a second edition. I don't think the strategies themselves have changed too much, but certainly marketing has. If you go through the book, you'll see marketing. I talk about business cards and bandit signs. Well, that's all nonsense now. That doesn't work. Now it's all technological. You've got to reach hundreds, if not thousands of people, and you can do it with the push of a button.
Yeah.
I saw somebody pop up on the screen asking, how do you do mass texting? Somebody named Alex. There's a lot of apps out there, Alex. If you want to talk about it, go to my email, nakedinvestor@gmail.com. You can always reach out, and I can give you some ideas on what I do anyway.
Where do they get your book? They can get your book on your webpage, right?
They can go to my webpage, and it's all there. So all the information they need is there. Nakedinvestor.com, but of course, there's a hyphen between naked and investor. If you go to a crazy website, my last name is Carbonari.
Carbonari. Oh yeah. You're making me, when I think carbonari, isn't that the pasta? The really
spaghetti
good pasta?
Carbonara. Claude, don't get me going, man. That's I had one of the most memorable meals I ever had. It was the dish of spaghetti carbonara in Rome, maybe, I don't know, 3 years ago. I've never forgotten how good it was.
Is that with the fresh pasta and it comes steaming? It's steaming when it comes to you. And the carbonara is a meat sauce, as I recall, right?
No. Yes,
it's not.
Bolognese.
Bolognese.
Carbonara is a cream sauce made with, they drop raw egg on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The pasta cooks the egg.
And then you take the pasta, and then you take the Parmesan and the fresh Parmesan, and you grind and you grate it on there.
And that's it.
And then you have a little, you open up a new bottle of that beautiful red Valpolicella with this. And what is Michael doing to us today? What's he putting in our mind here? What's going on?
Visual.
Can we can do it easily with food. Is everybody dying for some pasta right now?
Yeah, making me hungry.
Oh, I'm so hungry right now. Oh my God. And everything. Can we do the same thing that Michael just did, talking about food? Can we do the same thing with real estate, with finance, with buyers, sellers? Can we put an idea, a picture, a movie in their head, like Michael just did so well, with using his last name and just going right to food? Is easy, isn't it? What's the most popular channels on YouTube? Does anybody know? Easy.
Food and sex.
Yeah. Food. Somebody's got to mute themselves. Okay, go ahead, Brandon. Brandon, is that a bathroom, one or two fingers for the bathroom, or you got a question?
Oh, no, sorry. I'm in the car. I'm hanging on to the little handle.
Oh, okay.
But I was going to say, one of the things I learned from Michael was the cooperative lease option, where we don't have to fight against the seller. We can work with them and both get paid. I mean, some of the stuff in his book I've learned it's helped me in my business today. So it's really, really good.
I like the cooperative lease purchase, Michael. Can you talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, well, when I went out to see you, Claude, I had never heard of it. The little bit I knew about lease options was the sandwich lease. And I told you I tried two and I failed at both. And then when I went out to see you, you introduced the idea of a cooperative assignment, and it made perfect sense. You're removing yourself from being the middle of the deal. So now the homeowner's got more money. You're cooperating with the homeowner, cooperative assignment. And so you're not on opposite sides of the table fighting over dimes and dollars. And so, when I can get that idea across to the homeowner, it makes it much easier for me to get the homeowner to say, you know what, I'll do that deal, because he's talked to a wholesaler who tried to talk him down 30 or 40%. He decided he didn't want to work with the realtor because the realtor is going to take 6% off the top. As long as this homeowner is in a position where he doesn't need to cash out today, I can easily pitch the idea of a cooperative assignment as a way to make more money over the next 12 months. No realtor's fees, no tenants and toilets, minimal maintenance and repairs, top marketing, top selling price, top rental price. Where do we sign?
Yeah, it's non-adversarial, non-adversarial sales.
Not at all. It is not an adversarial type of real estate, and it's an easier type. It's easier to get the homeowner to say yes to that presentation.
I think you sound different too when you approach people that way. Instead of saying, well, I need you to drop your price. I need you to give me this, give me that, and everything. You're saying, hey, you know what, Mr. or Mrs. Prospect, you know what, if I was in your position, I'd want the same things, but you still have a problem Why don't we work together to solve this thing? You get your house sold, or you get good tenants in there. I make a profit, and we work together, subject to your approval of the tenant buyers. Can we do that, sir? Boom. That kind of, it's kind of interesting. You awakened an old memory cell here. The cooperative assignment contract actually led me to consulting as another cash flow stream in negotiation with people. Do you utilize that, Michael?
Yeah, not as much, Claude, but I remember you talked about that when I flew out to San Diego as one of the possibilities for making money in this business. Homeowner wants to do this deal. They don't want to share the money with me at all, but they don't know quite enough how to do it. But I've got the know-how, I've got the contracts, and if we can negotiate a fee, which I collect up front, then we've got a consultation done.
Yeah. And or you can do it that way, or you can switch. Let's do a quick role play. I was going to do this to you. Mm-hmm. And you go to me and say, gee, why don't I just do this myself? Why do I really need you? I think I can do this.
Claude, I hear what you're saying, but you know what? I can do this on my own. What do I need you for?
I was thinking the same thing, Mr. Carbonari. Can I call you Michael?
Sure, go ahead.
Carbonari makes me, I say Carbonari, I get too hungry. I'm sorry. But if I say Michael, I feel like I'm talking to a friend. That was a stroke, a very obvious stroke, but it was. And Michael, you know what? I thought the same thing. You're a smart guy. You've got a great business background. Do you need the contracts and maybe a marketing outline, and a few other things, and you could do this whole thing yourself, right?
Well, I was going to get contracts from there's a stationery store down the street from me.
There you go, and you get all your legal advice from give me a stationery store.
Office Max.
Office Max. Okay, they're good. Yeah. Let me ask you something. Do you think you'd be? I have contracts that I've designed I've been utilizing, and I'd be glad to send those to you and maybe give you a little marketing plan for you and ask you any questions, help you avoid a legal issue. Do you think it'd be worth paying me a small, reasonable fee so I could help you and hold your hand through the process, and you keep all the money? That wouldn't make sense, would it?
Makes great sense, actually.
What should we do? What should we do next?
You know what, Claude? You've convinced me that may be a feasible alternative to my going to an attorney and dropping $3,000.
I've made a decision. I want to help you market this home, get a good family in there, show you how to make option money upfront, good option money, get a break even or positive cash flow to help you with your mortgage, your taxes, your maintenance, and then make a wonderful profit at the back end of your property without paying a 6% or closing costs. Does that make sense?
Do I have access to you if I have a question along the way?
Wow, I don't know. Like when you say you want access to questions, do you mean, what do you mean exactly? I'm not sure.
Claude, you had talked about your contracts, which I haven't seen. Suppose I have a question about filling out the contracts.
Now, time out. What my students out there, this is one of those this is the guts closing. This is the commitment to close. When the prospect brings up a question, Michael is negotiating right now. He's trying to get more out of the deal. What should a good guts student do right now based on what Michael asked? Struggle to what? To what end?
Toward the commitment, and then throw at him, suppose I could do that.
Okay, be specific.
And let him come back at you with a yes or a no, because now you're taking the next step toward commitment.
Go ahead, do that with Michael right now in closing.
You want me to be you?
Yep, you me. Here, I'll lend you my hair.
Thanks. So Michael, from what I'm hearing, if suppose for a moment I could provide all of that for you, what would you say to me next?
I'd say we can do business.
Provide what though? Specifically outline it, David.
If I could provide the contracts, the assistance, be there for you when you have a question.
How long? Be specific. Don't just leave it open-ended.
How much time would you need for me to provide that for you?
Well, I'm thinking I'm fairly new at this. Can we work together sporadically over the next 30 days?
Breathe hard, struggle.
Okay, let me think about that for a minute. 30
Breathe
days. Suppose I could do that for you.
Then we can do business.
I'm sorry.
Then we can do business.
That
Thank
was
you.
it. Very good. Very good. That is the third step of the gut sales method. That is the commitment to close. That was a good role play. We needed a little bit more acting, though, a little bit more struggling. Who can struggle? Who's a good actor?
It's early still in San Diego.
No. Here we go. Here. I've had
Boo-hoo,
to keep out
boo-hoo.
boo-hoo tea. Oh, it's early. I haven't had my coffee.
I'm still waiting to have my second cup.
Never make me get out my boo-hoo tissues. Okay. Ellie. Yeah. There you are. You got a great smile.
Thank you. Hi, good morning. It's Elle, by the way.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yes.
Let's hear you close, but I want you to win the Academy Award. I want you to struggle like no one's ever asked for 30 days before. I want you to huff and puff and take a pregnant pause.
Okay.
Like you're giving me the world here, and then you close me. Could you give me, I hope I'm not 30 days of consultation with this?
30 days. I thought you were I'm just not sure. What is it exactly you want me to help you with?
Well, I've never done this deal before. You said you could help me with the contracts, and you said I think you said maybe I could call you once, and I'd really like to have access to you. I know I'm going to have more questions and stuff. Could I call you like once or twice a week, real short phone call? I won't be a pain in the butt, I promise.
Yeah. Wow. And you're sure you want to do this? So I mean, you want to talk to me, and we want to work on this together.
If you can help me over the next 30 days, I'll get a haircut. I'll pay you. I'll decide. I'll go ahead. I'll do this with you.
Do the deal.
Wow. So you want to do the deal, and I need to be available to you a few times a week over the next 30 days.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate your willingness to help me with this. So I guess I can see what I can do. Yeah, I think I can help you with that.
Close him. Go ahead. Close me. You're closing me. You're the salesperson. Just say, Claude, if I was willing to do this.
Claude, if I was willing to do this.
I never do.
Claude, if I was willing to do this, which I never do, this is something I would do for you. I told you earlier, I feel like, you're a friend. I feel like I can do this for you.
Michael, did she close you?
I am new in this.
Brand new. That was a pretty good attempt.
This is my very first ever.
Woo! Well, you did pretty good. Give Elle a round there. That was okay. You. We put her on the high. Elle, this is the stuff we talk about all the time.
After your second meeting, you get the boohoo tissues.
Yes. No boohoos here. Okay. Oh, the dog ate my homework.
Yeah. So then what? So what is it in language so I could learn right here, please? What is it that I need to do as the close without making it sound like the kill? The kill and close.
If I could, would you is what I use roughly.
Go ahead, Bailey. Okay. Is that Bailey who was talking?
Yeah, I'm just telling her the concept. If I could do this or that or the other thing, would you then move forward?
Yeah, that's your ask. And you want to make it emotional. You want to struggle a little. You want a little bit of psychology, human behavior, scarcity. We talk a lot about scarcity, social proof, reciprocity, likability, trust. We talk about all those. And we talk about a little bit of acting ability. I always say my big advantage in life was in third grade, I played an onion, So you've got, it was a big round casa. It was a beach ball or something. The thing about it is, it's an emotional moment in time, and people make decisions immediately. How?
From the heart.
From the heart. Michael.
Emotion.
Michael, how much of your business persuading people is about the sale, is about the conversation?
Oh, most of it. I mean, it's very few homeowners who just say, you know what, I'm glad you called, let's do the deal. You've got to sell yourself before you can close the deal. They've got to know that they can trust me, that I'm not only am I providing them with what's they're looking for, with a quality product, but they've got to like the person, they've got to trust me, and that's something that comes from the heart, and that's only something you're going to get by talking on the phone with the people.
How does that differentiate you from your competition?
What is what, Claude?
How does selling from the heart, your words, how does that kind of communication with people, how does that differentiate you from, I mean, we're in a competitive world, aren't we?
Very.
How does that differentiate you? How does that make you unique?
Well, you know, when I'm very low key on the phone, Claude. You know, I don't try and force somebody to do business with me. My goal, something I learned from you, is, am I talking to a prospect or a suspect? If I think this is going, I need to know within the first 3 or 4 minutes if we're going to have at least a possibility of a deal. And so if I'm talking to somebody who I've got if they ask me, who are you? Let me see your references. I want you to talk to my attorney. If I'm getting all of that BS, I'm off the phone in a matter of minutes. So, you know, I've got to be comfortable with them. They got to be comfortable with me. And I just think when there's a connection there, it's two ways. And that's just always worked for me. You know, again, I don't force myself on anybody. I'm easygoing on the phone. I watch videos of you on the phone. You don't beat anybody up.
No, I'm a cream puff. I'm a short. I don't want to fight with
you. You're a quiet assassin is what you are. You're a quiet assassin. You kill them on the phone. They don't know they're being skewered.
Mr. Carbonari, you sound like you're mad at me today. Tell me what I did wrong so I could apologize. You sound did you switch the decaf? What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that. It just, that just relaxes people.
Yeah.
A little humor goes a long way.
I like the one, did I make a pass at your wife at the last Christmas party?
There's a lot. What happens when you make another human being laugh? Laughter is very powerful in sales, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm. Takes the tension out.
How do anybody here, I always talk about, I used to live across from a comedy club. You know what happens when you hear good comedians for an hour and a half, 2 hours? How do you feel when you're leaving?
Full of endorphins.
Yeah. There is an endorphin effect of laugh. Did you ever laugh so much and so hard and so long that your sides were sore? You know, it's a good pain, isn't it? Can imagine if we can do that with people and make them smile. Is it so hard? But we have to be, I think, the initiator in the conversations. I mean, Michael, have you ever had the yes, no prospect? Yes, no, person?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
isn't that torture?
Oh, you can't, it's like pulling teeth. You just can't get anything out of them. That's very frustrating. Very frustrating.
Can I ask you a few quick questions before, and everybody, Michael's, your name of your book again, Michael?
Naked Investor.
Naked Investor, so hard, and it's on naked-investor.com.
Yes.
On there, Michael, if you were going to start all over again, if you were starting today, what advice would you give somebody? I love that. You know, what would you be focusing on if you want to start all over again?
Well, first I'll answer the question, but let me just say the first problem I would have as a new investor is getting caught in the muck of the internet, YouTube, bigger pockets, all that. But if I somehow manage to wade through that, what I would want to do is what I talked about earlier. I would eventually settle on one strategy that fit my financial abilities at the moment, and also my investor's mindset. What's my comfort zone? If I've got a lot of cash on hand, I might be a cash buyer. And then fix and flip or something. But I would settle on one strategy that fits my financial abilities, that fits my comfort zone, and move ahead and block out all the other noise. And it sounds counterintuitive, Claude, but if you can slow things down as a new investor, you actually speed up your progress.
Do you think today is even better for a new investor than it was when you and I were starting, when I was starting?
I would say it's better in terms of opportunity. I would say it's much more difficult in terms of getting started, because when we started, we talked about it earlier, we didn't have all this stuff to get to distract us. We had the newspaper, and we would dial for dollars. We didn't go online and look at all sorts of things. So I think it's harder now because there's so much information out there that old paralysis of analysis is just a real bad virus.
Do you think we've lost the skill set of just conversation, of initiating talk, like just talking, speaking one-on-one to somebody? Have we lost that skill set because of all this technology?
It's thumbs, baby. It's all thumbs now. Yeah. I mean, I got 2 daughters, and they're not so crazy about technology, but I talk to them about it. I see their friends. I mean, we have kids now, 20-somethings, that have relationships that are based on texting. They don't see. How do you date somebody over a telephone? But that's what it's come down to.
How do 2 teenagers make out today?
Oh, we used to go. Yeah, you send kiss emojis over the phone.
It's kissing emojis, right? Claude and I would go to the drive-in. Now, some of you younger folks out here, you don't know what a drive-in is. Somebody tell them what a drive-in is. Tell them what a drive-in is.
Oh, there's the bus.
That's a Starbucks.
I guess that would be a drive. No, that's a drive-through, not a drive-in. That's a drive-through.
Yes.
Hey, Claude, believe it or not, no.
Whoops, Sean, we lost you. It's that Hewlett-Packard computer.
No, it's Dell.
I said here in Omaha, they just opened up a brand new drive-through. Drive-in movie, I'm sorry.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Does the hot dog still dance with the popcorn? Let's go into the lobby. You remember that?
Grease.
Does anyone remember that? It was in Greece. You're right. You're right.
Hey, I have a question for Michael, if you don't
Go
mind.
ahead. Let's go. We got a few minutes left. Questions for Michael. Michael, if I forget to say thank you for giving up an hour of your valuable time.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
I remember when Claude was even just starting out, he would tell me good lease options, lease purchases are not going to be in the newspaper. They're created. And how do you go about bringing the subject up with a potential seller to create that opportunity and educate them on the phone of what that type of situation would look like?
Well, when I contact a homeowner, it's very rare, Dave, that I contact a homeowner who's advertising a lease option, because thinking is if they're already advertising it, they don't need me in the deal. So I kind of avoid them. So when I'm contacting a homeowner cold, I will ask them, you wouldn't be interested in selling a house at the lease option, would you? Or would you be interested in selling a house at the lease option? And then I may get feedback. Well, I don't know what that means, or I'd never do that, or, well, maybe, can we talk about it? So I'll broach the subject, and then I'll get into my bullet points. I've got a little document I created called the Lease Purchase Advantage, which comes from Claude, and it's just the bullet points of what I can offer. No realtor's fees, no maintenance and repairs, top selling price, top rent, all that sort of thing. And so I'll just pitch the bullet points of what I can offer them, and within a couple of minutes, I should know whether or not this person is a viable candidate, or if not, I wish him luck and move on. I don't, like I said a few minutes ago, Dave, I'm not forcing this down anybody's throat. They're not interested in dealing with me. Thank you. Goodbye. Good luck.
You're using scarcity.
Mm-hmm.
You're offering something unique in a world where people don't want to embrace direct communication anymore. You're actually speaking to people, which I still think, I've never done a deal by texting without, I've always had to eventually, you've got to get in, do direct communication with someone.
Of course.
Sooner or later. All the other stuff is just the motions. You got to get on that phone. And the emotions play so much a part in the negotiation. Another question for Michael here. Go ahead, Mr. Cash Offer.
Hey, Michael, thanks for sharing your story with us. It's been awesome hearing your story and hearing about you. My question is, what techniques or strategies would you give us to look into other markets outside of our own backyard? I'm in Dallas, very saturated, very,
hot market. Yeah, Dallas market is hot. Well, what I do, one of my, I guess, tasks on a weekly basis is to search the news wires to see what the market is doing as a whole and what markets specifically are more favorable for guys like us. And what I mean is what markets have declining sales, which leads to increasing inventory. Homeowners in the area see what's going on. Now you're getting price reductions. Houses have been on the market 90 days or more. If I contact that homeowner, I'm going to have a better chance of getting some kind of favorable reply versus, let's say, the Dallas market or Austin, Texas. My daughter just moved there, and it's just an absolutely insane market. So I'm searching the news wires. The Realtors Association releases every quarter, or at least usually, what they call their hotness index, and it breaks down 300 markets coast to coast in every state, the markets that are the hottest versus all the way down to the markets that are the coldest. Well, I'm going to do my, let's say, mass texting to the cold markets, because that's where people are more likely to say, hey, you know what, I need a plan B, and what you're presenting may work for me. And so that's what I do.
Thank you. And one other thing, when you say news wires, what do you mean by that?
There were websites where business websites where they're tracking the economy, marketwatch.com. I'll just do a Google search on what markets are, what real estate markets are doing good. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think. I tell you what, if you hit me up with an email, I can send you some of the links to the articles, the websites that I use for articles. Also, on my Naked Investor page on Facebook, whenever I find an article that's related to what we're talking about, I'll post it there. So you may want to pop in there once in a while, and you'll see what I'm looking at.
Excellent. One last question before we go here for Michael Carbonari, the Naked Investor. The only reason he's not live today is he has wardrobe malfunctions all the time, and he cannot be live. One last question. Give him a good one. Go ahead, L.
Pizza recipe?
Hey, Michael, I was going to ask you, you mentioned bigger pockets and avoiding bigger pockets. You mentioned that twice. What is your particular issue with that, or is it just in general that those type of websites don't work?
Maybe it's not so much the website as the fact that people rely on it too heavily. If you post a question and what you're going to get are 6 different replies, each one telling you something different. If you're a new investor, your head is spinning. What do I say? This guy said that, this guy said the opposite, this guy said something in the middle. So you can get overwhelmed very easily. And again, that leads to paralysis of analysis, which is a worse virus than this damn COVID BS. So that's my problem with bigger pockets. The other thing is it can get pretty nasty there. A lot of egos. I mean, people are telling you, you should have been aborted, get the hell off the board, so stuff like that, So I'm not a big fan of bigger pockets. It has its value, but if you overuse it as a new investor, you're going to end up you're just going to be circling the drain, because there's just so much information and misinformation. As a new investor, what do I do now? So I think it can be detrimental if used excessively.
Let's have one more.
Thank you.
Well, last question from Mel.
Thank you. So traditionally, we would see a lot of movement from like Marcus and Millichap as a resource in regards to like where is commercial being built, because like I actually work in the financial sector traditionally, and so we kind of watch where are like commercial businesses already going on, because they've already done the homework for us. They've already done the market research. These big buildings, these big movements are going to bring a different economy with them. That's why they're invested in them. Because of COVID now and the shift with work from home and working virtually, what kind of new displacement or new landscape, Michael, or anybody on this phone or this call, do you expect to kind of see now that the traditional methods are decomposing?
Well, Al, you bring up a good point. The old saying used to be buy in the path of progress. And so what you're saying makes perfect sense. But now there's been a dramatic shift in the workplace. Working from home, something that I've been doing for 30 years. So I'm ahead of the curve on that one.
Don't we love working from home, Michael? Isn't it great?
Yeah, like you always said, Claude, you can't beat the coffee or the commute, but everybody's getting wise to us. But, Al, it's a good question. We're on the cutting edge of a whole paradigm shift. I don't know what it's going to lead to. I'm enjoying watching it, but this, for the younger generation, they've got it's a whole different world for them.
There was an article in the Wall Street Journal this week about some of the old stodgy Wall Street companies. They want their employees to come back to the cubicles, and young people like Elle are saying, "No way, dude! I like working from home. I can sit there in my SpongeBob boxers. I can pet my dog. I can make lunch. I don't have to spend money on lattes and commuting and parking." And I think if you are not changing, the times that they are changing, Dylan said it. Michael and I, we became lazy home buddies 30 years ago. And I have no regrets. Michael, I think you're cut from the same cloth as me. Are you unemployable now, Michael?
Well, it's funny you ask. One of my people asked me, if I meet somebody, what do you do for a living? My answer is for 28 years has been, I'm gainfully unemployed.
My son, somebody once asked my young son when he was a little guy, what does your dad do for a living? He's always home. And my son said, nothing.
Yeah, well, good.
I love it. Hervik, I saw your hand up, and then we really got to go. We're running way over here.
Thanks, Claude, and hello to everybody, and thanks for everybody always joining these calls. Michael, I have a question for you. You mentioned earlier researching a new market. I just wanted to ask, and you went down a list of a couple of resources, seems like, but can you give us some resources that you use to research a new potential market?
Great question.
Well, again, if you're not familiar with the Realtors Hotness Index, you should look at it. It comes out quarterly. There's a couple of there's marketwatch.com. There's a couple more that just slipped my